I'm just listening to all of this, and all I can think is that I don't really like any of these people involved. I don't like any of them. It sounds to me, in my humble opinion, that Timothy is not a very nice guy. His wife is acting strange. And then you got the parents of these two twins who are demonstrated fraudsters. The real victims in all of this, of course, are the children. So that was the first thing I thought of. He doesn't look happy. He looks like he's being forced. Second thing I thought was, she can't dance to save her life. She really can't. Give Thomas Markle Sr. all the money back that he put into these dance lessons. She needs to give him every last red cent back. This is embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. But a lot of you guys were pissed off in the comments because a lot of you really felt that I wasn't giving Priscilla her due justice. That a lot of people really out there do not like Priscilla. They think that she is a fraudster. Hey you guys, welcome back to I'm such an idiot. Welcome to the channel. I'm Jennifer. You know I'm a total nerd. This is just a coffee chat series that I'm starting on the channel just because I want to do something fun. But I have no idea what I want to call it. Do I want to call it coffee or tea with you and me? Or do I want to say coffee or tea with Jen? Or I have no idea. Put something down in the comments, like it's just me and my coffee or my tea, and I'm chatting with you, and we're talking about stuff in the news that I'm reading about that's either getting me fired up or, you know, whatever, just stuff that I want to chat with you guys about. And I have my coffee, and tell me if y'all do this, especially if you have kids, or even if you don't have kids. You know, you might have kids and they're grown and they're out of the house, whatever, but are you like me? Do you have a cup of coffee that takes you literally 5 hours to drink? I start a cup of coffee and then I drink half of it and then I put it down at a table and then I come back 3 hours later and I'm like, oh, well, look, I have iced coffee now. So yeah, I have this really yummy protein coffee that I use. It's Yavi coffee. It starts with a J. I'll put a picture of it some here. But I love it because it's low sugar. It's like keto friendly. It's got a lot of protein. I think it's like 10 grams of protein in one scoop. I really like it. I have a special way that I prepare it. Not sponsored, but anyway, and then I put it down, and then later I'm like, we have iced coffee beverage now, so it's quite refreshing when it's iced. But anyway, I'm such a lunatic. Let's chat, you guys. Okay, give me a drink. Do I have enough caffeine right now? Jeez, I'm a lunatic. Okay, this whole Timothy Busfield, Melissa Gilbert story that's been roaring through the headlines this past week.
I wanted to destroy the entire town, and that's why we blew it up.
It's pretty sad and it's pretty disturbing, and I felt myself going through all these crazy emotions regarding it, and it was just, it's been a wave. It's been really, really weird. And you know, that's such the case with these celebrities, because sometimes when there's unsavory stories regarding celebrities that you have, say, grown up watching and have liked in the past and different things, and you know, you have an attachment to, say, whatever projects that they're linked to, these types of stories come out and you're like, ugh. You feel your stomach drop. I mean, I think the majority of us out here, probably at least for the past 10, if not 15 years, are really disillusioned with all of Hollywood, basically as a whole. But you know, still, once in a while, a story hits you and you're like, oh, that sucks. That really sucks, you know? First of all, I didn't even know that Melissa Gilbert was currently married to Timothy Busfield. And I just want to start out by saying that I love Little House on the Prairie. I loved the books when I was little. I loved the TV show when I was little. In homeschool, before we moved to Germany, because I homeschooled my twins for 5 years, in homeschool, my daughter read the entire Little House series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. She absolutely loved it. And when she finished the series, I was like, and now it is time, you know, for the torch to be passed to a new generation. And now we're going to watch Little House on the Prairie together. And that we did. My daughter and I, on Amazon Prime, watched every single stinking episode of Little House on the Prairie, and we loved it.
But my life is good. Really good.
We ate it up. It's like, we loved that show. Love it, love it, love it.
Love it.
It's just such a sweet, beautiful, charming show, and it's just like so different from all the crap that's on television now. And I knew my daughter would love it. And it was kind of funny too, because my son would be like, I don't want to watch this. But then sometimes when we'd be watching it, he'd like saunter into the room and start watching. And like whenever Nellie Olson would be on the screen, he'd like, make little comments about her. But he liked watching it too. Even though we didn't watch every single episode the way me and my daughter did, he loved it. He loved it. So this story comes out about Timothy Busfield, and there's a warrant out for his arrest, January 9th, apparently. And there are 2 charges, 2 counts of criminal SA involving minors that at the time were 7 years old. And apparently he was a director on a television show, season 2 of a show called The Cleaning Lady. And he was directing these 2 7-year-old boys. And apparently in an investigation that was started in November 24, and all this stuff started coming out. There was a hospital in New Mexico that apparently had been talking to the children and examining the children. And based on that, they let authorities know that we believe that there was some grooming going on. We believe that there was some stuff going down when they were on the set with this Timothy, this man. And that's how this all blew up, right? So you can imagine after hearing this and then seeing Melissa staunchly defend her husband in public. I mean, obviously, okay, fine. She's married to the guy. She's going to stand up for him. Everyone deserves their day in court, whatever. But I mean, these are some of the worst charges that anyone could have brought against them. So there's that. And all I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. But my mind went to the very last episode of Little House on the Prairie, where the entire town of Walnut Grove is blown up. Apparently Michael Landon, who was director, he was a writer, he was one of the lead actors, he made the executive and artistic decision to blow up the entire town of Walnut Grove. The plot point storyline in the last episode was that there were these greedy land surveyors that were basically buying the town out underfoot of the residents. So what the residents decided to do to kind of get back at them was blow up their own town rather than leave it to these money-hungry land grubbers. And this was all made up for the show. This was not in the books and whatever. And I don't know, the only reason why I'm even mentioning it was because I hated that ending, and so did my daughter.
I wanted to destroy the entire town, which I did. Everybody needed a catharsis on that show. We were together for 9 years, and that's why we blew it up. That plus the fact I didn't want anybody making a trashy movie at Walnut Grove, because I liked that town.
And Michael Landon apparently did this because he wanted to protect the legacy of the town of Walnut Grove, or the scenes, the props. He didn't want them being reused. And I guess apparently he was kind of even partly angry at NBC for canceling the show, because apparently he didn't think they were going to cancel it so soon. But anywho, I just remember the whole town being blown up, and that's what I thought of too when I found out that this guy, Timothy Busfield, was married to Melissa Gilbert. I'm like, oh, well, there goes the legacy of Little House on the Prairie up in smoke, especially if he's guilty and she's so staunchly defending this man. So that's what I was thinking about as this stuff is rolling out. And of course, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, anything involving children, you're just like, immediately grossed out and pissed off, right? Then what ends up happening is we're hearing that this arrest warrant has been put out, and then it's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. No one knows where Timothy Busfield is. Apparently authorities don't know where the hell he is, because on January 13, federal marshals in upstate New York take a freaking battering ram to his home up there, trying to find the guy. And some accounts were saying that, in situations like this, when there's an arrest warrant out and when the charges are this egregious and this disgustingly horrible, that sometimes they are worried for the person who's, the warrant's out for, because sometimes they feel that there might be self-harm in the situation. And that also is something that I thought about. I was like, okay, as every day went by, when the news media was reporting, still no word from Timothy, we don't know where he is, my mind went there too. I was like, I wonder if he's going to self-harm. You never know what people are going to do, right? But apparently, when federal marshals broke into his upstate New York home less than an hour before, Timothy himself had surrendered to New Mexico authorities. But what made it a little bit more kind of not so good for Timothy in the eyes of many was because why wasn't there any communication between Timothy and Timothy's lawyers to authorities? I mean, why did was it 4 days or 5 days that elapsed in between when the warrant was issued and when he turned up in New Mexico? Now, we've all seen that little video that he released that went out on social media where he was like, oh, hey, it's Tim here. And, I'm going to fight these charges and these are all lies and all this kind of stuff.
Hi, everybody. It's Tim. I'm sure most of you know that are watching this that I was ordered to come to Albuquerque. I'm here now. I got the call Friday night. I had to get a lawyer. Saturday, I got in a car. I drove 2,000 miles to Albuquerque. I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies. And I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team. And I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is all so wrong and all lies. So hang in there. And hopefully I'm out real soon and back to work. And I love everybody for supporting me. Thank you.
And I was watching that being analyzed by a body language expert. I think it was on Megyn Kelly's show, where he was basically saying his BS detector was really going off and he really didn't find that he was addressing it in a honest and forthright manner. I kind of got the heaves from watching that video a little bit too, especially when he was like, hey, Tim here. And to me, I mean, I watched enough body language and analysis type people on YouTube to know, I mean, like, right, we're all experts, right? Because we watch YouTube. But these people that specialize in body language analysis, right? They say things all the time to the effect of, like, people, especially if they're guilty, they try to throw out these little things that are what they perceive to be disarming to the public. Just for the fact that he's calling himself Tim, he's trying to disarm the people that are watching the video so that they'll feel sorry for him, because he's using his casual and friendly nickname, referring to himself as, hey, Tim here, whatever, just all kind of creepy. And all these things are happening. So now he's in custody in New Mexico. And apparently his defense attorney and his statement was basically like, he didn't take a plane because he knew that if he took a plane, he would immediately get arrested. So that's why he made the 2,000-mile journey to New Mexico to meet with authorities and turn himself in, because the warrant was out for him. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're already going to be arrested. There's a warrant out for you. I don't understand why Timothy and his team didn't just communicate with authorities, because this happens all the time. Attorneys secure a client and who can be up against some very, very serious charges. They will contact authorities and say, hey, we are with our client. We're advising our client. We will go ahead and turn our client in at, said day, time, whatever. And as long as they adhere to said day, time, it's usually fine. But to have such a long period of time, an almost 5-day stretch, to go by where he doesn't communicate, doesn't talk to anyone, that's why the marshals were, beating his dang door down. And that's why everyone was kind of like, he's not behaving in the manner of someone who is innocent. He's not behaving in the manner of someone who has 2 clues to rub together. It's like, buy yourself a clue, dude. They're on sale. You should probably get your ass in to authorities sooner rather than later. So that's happening, and that's all very weird. And then Melissa Gilbert, aka Laura Ingalls Wilder, this is all going on, and she's on the old Instagram. And what is Melissa Gilbert doing? She's promoting her lifestyle brand. And I didn't even know she had a lifestyle brand either. But apparently this thing is called, what the hell is it called? I'm watching Megyn Kelly, and she has a company lifestyle deal going on called Official Modern Prairie. And when all this is going on with her husband, she's posting pictures of her refrigerator. And it says, we get asked all the time what's in our Modern Prairie test kitchen fridge. And the honest answer is all the good stuff. And it's just pictures of like milk, eggs, butter, veggies, all that kind of stuff. And I took a screen grab of this when I was watching it on the Megyn Kelly podcast, because I thought Okay, remember when I told you that the first thing I thought of when I found out that Melissa Gilbert was married to this guy was I thought of that last scene when the whole freaking town in Walnut Grove gets blown up on the damn show. This isn't about a show. This is about, horrible thing. Hopefully it's not true. This is terrible. But I just thought of that. I thought, okay, like this is not going to bode well for anybody associated with these people. And then I find out that she's got this official modern prairie deal going on. I don't know if it's a company or if it's just a brand. I don't even know what the hell it is. But just the fact that the moniker, right? Official modern prairie. So she's still capitalizing on her biggest claim to fame, which is the fact that she was Laura Ingalls Wilder. She's associating herself with that whole prairie idea, right? So that's when I kind of was like, yep, like, because she knows that's what everyone thinks about first when they think about her. But anyway, point being, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, your husband is being accused of SA against minors, and she's posting over there on this official modern prairie as if nothing's wrong. And you're posting about what's going on in your test kitchen fridge, your test kitchen. Okay, like whatever. So yeah, I took the screen grab, and so this was going on when he was, all this had been uncovered and this warrant had been out, and she's posting this. Now I went to the official Modern Prairie official Instagram while I was making this video, and that post has since been deleted. So she knows what people were saying, and she knows that the timing was just absolutely gross. And I don't know if this is my phone or what, but when I try to click on this website, it says there's a problem loading the websites. I don't know what that's all about. But there's also an app apparently that you can get, and then it says problem loading it. So I have no idea what's going on there, but that's in pretty poor taste. I mean, that really speaks of, maybe it's just these insulated Hollywood personality types that really do think that they're so above everything, above judgment, above criticism. They exist in these weird little bubbles where nothing touches or affects them, that she's just going to go out and continue to, hey, this is my brand, nothing to see over there with my husband. And apparently, according to this current warrant, this is apparently some type of historical pattern. All very disturbing. Now, again, innocent till proven guilty, this man's going to have his day in court. So yeah, so this is all the little tide that's turning and going. That's the sequence of events, right? So yeah, the guy's got a warrant, the guy's at large, the guy turns himself in, makes a little National Lampoon Vacation Joyride 2,000 miles rather than gonna get on a plane because he didn't want to get arrested immediately. You're gonna get arrested anyway, dude. None of this makes sense. Doesn't really look good. And then once he's in custody, then the articles start coming out about Melissa Gilbert, who's asking a judge to protect her husband amidst the SA abuse charges. And apparently there's over 70 letters of support for Timothy Busfield, although this article from USA Today doesn't talk about who these letters are coming from. But, one is apparently coming from her because she's married to the guy who's being charged. And she's quoted in this letter to the judge where she says, "The reality is that Tim Busfield is my love, my rock, my partner in business and life. He is my comfort and my counsel. His joy, humor, and quick wit bring sparkle to my life. Tim is quite simply the beating heart of our wild and wonderfully extended family." Now, they both have children from previous marriages. He's got 3 from 2 different wives, and she's got 2 from 2 different husbands. So something like that. So they're a blended family. But she fell in love with Timothy Busfield in 2012. They got married in 2013. She finishes the letter to the judge. "I began this letter with logic, but now the feelings have taken over. I can't help it. I only want this extraordinary man safe and whole. So I will close by asking you to please take care of my sweet husband as he is my protector. I am his, but I cannot protect him now. And I think that more than anything else, that is what is truly breaking my heart. I am relying on you to protect him for me," she added. Now, you read that and you know exactly what she's talking about. Oh, and she's also listed, Melissa is listed as a potential witness at his pre-trial detention hearing, which is going to be on January 20th. And that is when the judge is going to determine whether or not he is eligible for bail or whether he's going to remain behind bars. I'm going to say he's probably going to remain behind bars given the severity of these charges and that they are involving children. That's just my thoughts on it. But We all know what happens to people that are in jail for these types of crimes. Even while the trials are going on and before they might be charged or sentenced. And she knows this. And that's why she's making a plea for her husband's safety while he is in custody. For his sake, I hope these charges are not true. And I don't know how you guys feel about this. If you think that he is guilty, if you think he's innocent, what? And hear me out. Okay, the biggest reason why I think that he probably is guilty is because, think about it, these are really, really horrible charges. And they're traumatizing charges. They're involving minors. Now, the alleged victims are now 11 years old, these twins. And the thing is that in coming forward and bringing these charges to light and having all of this publicity and all this stuff surrounding this, people are going to know who these children are. I mean, put two and two together. Everyone knows what the name of the show is. Everyone knows that they're twins. You can find out who these kids are. So now this is always going to be forever tied to these kids, which is really, really sad. And, parents, I'm sure, are probably in this situation torn. I'm sure there's a part of them that potentially doesn't want this to get out and to be associated with their names for, all perpetuity. And they're probably worried about that in one sense. Then again, there's also that very, very strong sense of we want justice. So again, that's a huge reason why it's brought forward. I don't know. There's just so many things that about this whole thing just gives me the ick factor. So as things are unfolding, right, I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy is guilty as hell, in my opinion. And just the fact that the statement that he gave was really conflicting. Some parts he's saying he doesn't know them. Other parts he's saying, oh yeah, did I touch them? Very highly likely, and just all this weird stuff. When the story doesn't jive, and usually when people are telling lies, there's all these weird discrepancies going on. So that's when I was thinking, okay, this guy's guilty. He was just acting weird. He was offering all these weird conflicting statements. He didn't turn himself in right away. There was that really sketchball 5-day period where no one knew where the hell he was. His wife's acting all weird on her Instagram, Modern Prairie Deal account. Oh, and then also she completely deletes her entire personal Instagram, which to me, the first thing I think of is I think that's sketchy. I can kind of see why she would do it because she knows that she's going to get such a crazy amount of hate and backlash that she probably doesn't want to deal with it. And that's why she shut it down. Fair enough. And again, the guy's going to get his day in court, of course. So I'm thinking all of that. This guy is probably guilty as sin. And then some more stuff starts coming out. Megyn Kelly is bringing up the fact that this past November 25, Melissa Gilbert put out a post of her own. And in this post on Instagram, she is basically addressing something that Megyn Kelly said on a November 2025 podcast episode on the Megyn Kelly Show. I just told you that Melissa Gilbert had deleted her personal Instagram account at or around 2 days after the arrest warrant went out for her husband, right? So she deletes her personal Instagram. Megyn Kelly was basically calling Melissa Gilbert out, calling her a hypocrite. And the reason why Megyn was calling Melissa a hypocrite was because, back in November 25, on her show, Megyn is basically saying that, I'm paraphrasing here, that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't into little kids, not say 8 years old or 9 years old. He was into the barely legal kind of teenage girl, that it wasn't little kids. Not that Megyn was excusing anything. I don't know the context of the conversation on that particular podcast episode of hers, but that's what she was basically asserting. She's quoted as saying that, quote, this is Megyn Kelly saying this about Jeffrey Epstein. He liked 15-year-old girls, and I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts that he wasn't into like 8-year-old. So that's basically what Megyn's trying to say, Megyn Kelly. But this apparently really pissed off Melissa Gilbert. So she goes on her personal Instagram and she puts up a post, and I'm going to read it to you. And it says, "So I debated posting this, but I feel compelled to share. After seeing many women's posts with the hashtags, I was 15, I'm 15, I was a child, I decided to Google search myself at that age and see what came up. And this is some of what I found. And now at this age, at this time, I'm actually nauseated. The girl on vacation in Hawaii with her family is the same girl who was expected to, quote, fall in love with, end quote, and kiss a man on film who is several years older than she was. Through the lens of today, this is shocking. I have no other words other than to say I was a child. I was 15. And I was the good news. Thank God my mom and Michael," meaning Michael Landon, her television dad, "and so many others were there to make sure I was safe. Can you imagine if I hadn't have had them all? I am so fortunate, sort of." And she's saying many women aren't. And then she tags Megyn Kelly at Megyn Kelly to say, "Be careful what you say." Now that, when I saw that she had done that back in November, and I don't know, because I don't follow this woman on Instagram. I don't really care. But point being, the first thing I thought of was how just kind of gross, what a weird way to insert yourself into a conversation. Because first of all, I don't really see how you can equate those two situations. She says in her own post that she had a good experience and that she was protected by her mom, by Michael Landon, by people on the set that protect children against, these types of weirdo predators and just weird situations in general, like, working them for too long or whatever, or making sure they have school time and all this. She was protected. Yes, the guy that played her husband, Dean Butler, he played Almanzo Wilder, and he was apparently 9 to 10 years older than she was. And of course, she had to kiss him in some scenes. But if you watch the show, it's all very innocent. It's not like it's gross and there's tongue and they're groping at each other. It was all a really wholesome show. And she even says that she was protected on set. And the other thing that I didn't really like about Melissa Gilbert's comments, how many years, 50 years or so after the fact of her working with Dean Butler on the set of Little House on the Prairie, is how does this make Dean Butler feel? Like, in what light are you trying to paint this man how many decades later? It's almost as if she's insinuating, had I not had the protection of my mother and, people on the set and Michael Landon, who knows what would have happened? I mean, how do you expect Dean Butler to feel after reading those comments of hers go viral all over social media, and he wrote a memoir of his own that came out in 2024, and it was called Prairie Man, My Little House Life and Beyond. And he even talks about an incident during filming where Melissa Gilbert's mother, Barbara, got really upset, visibly upset and crying when he and Melissa had to film a kissing scene. And, he even says that, he gets it. She was a mom. She was probably being very protective. In fact, he called it protective displeasure, even though it was all very innocent. Again, it's not like they're groping on each other and having all kinds of weird inappropriateness going on. And, I can think of a lot of different movies in the past that have been filmed. Stuff like Taxi Driver with Jodie Foster, or, Brooke Shields in that movie Pretty Baby, where you've got really, really young girls in these movies with much older men. And it's a lot more sexually racy material than what was going on the Little House on the Prairie set. So I just didn't like that whole thing. I didn't like how Melissa Gilbert was trying to liken her situation on that protected set and insert herself into the conversation because of, we know why people do this. It's all because they want to look like they're authorities in a discussion. It's all about these social currency points. They just want people to talk about it, and they want to insert themselves into the conversation, and they want to go viral. I mean, what other reason would she have to talk about this kind of stuff? Because Dean Butler, as of this recording, and to my knowledge and everything that I've looked online about this man, he's never been accused of any type of impropriety with Melissa on the set. It was all very protected, and it was all very on the up and up. So it's weird. And I thought it was gross for her to go ahead and bring up all that stuff from the past when really it had nothing to do with what Megyn Kelly was talking about on her podcast regarding Jeffrey Epstein. So I just read that and I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you inserting yourself in this conversation, really? Your situation has nothing to do with what they're talking about. They're talking about Jeffrey Epstein being an absolute pig of a person who was trafficking and prostituting minors and abusing them. Like, I just hate it when these celebrity types insert themselves into conversations where they really don't have any business being in. It's just, and I'm going to preach to you and da 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 da. It's just gross. I didn't really like that. So all this has happened, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't really think that this guy is good, and I would think that, in my opinion, he's probably guilty of these things. I don't like the way his wife is conducting herself, and rightly so. On Megan's show, Megan calls her out, and she's like, "You're married to this guy, you know what he's all about, and here you are, trying to posture and make it seem like, you are this advocate for young people, and look what I had to endure on the set of Little House on the Prairie, but look what your hubby's doing." So that's basically what Megyn Kelly was saying. And so everyone's kind of like throwing all this out and all this weird stuff. So so Melissa's deleted the Instagram profile, and still trying to shill her wares on that other official Modern Prairie account. In my mind, at this point, things aren't looking good for Timothy Busfield or Melissa Gilbert. But then some stories start coming out. Some stories start coming out that make me do a little cause for pause, because apparently the parents of the two twins that are accusing Timothy Busfield of impropriety with children, apparently they have some sketchball pasts of their own. Now, this is a little interesting. Well, I shouldn't say it's a little interesting. It's a lot interesting. Are you ready for this? Take a sip, y'all. The father of the twin boys, his name is Ronald Rodas. He's a former lawyer that was disbarred. Okay. And he has been convicted of federal conspiracy and wire fraud in the past. And he was also involved he pleaded guilty to a mortgage scam scheme. Okay. And he defrauded apparently more than 1,500 people of approximately $6 million in these mortgage fraud schemes in California. Okay, doesn't sound good. And apparently Timothy Busfield's defense team is alleging that this man has a well-documented history of dishonesty and fraud, which he does. That ain't too good. When a lawyer is disbarred, no matter in which state it happens, you got to be doing some seriously shady crap for that to happen. Okay. But also what's interesting is apparently the mom has been involved and been in court cases involving fraud as well. But listen to this, it gets even crazier. So there's a witness statement apparently from a lead actress on that show, The Cleaning Lady, that Timothy was directing, that all this stuff is coming out from, right? All these allegations from the workings on this show. So this lead actress from the show, her name is Elodie Young. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I massacred her name. But she's a lead actress on that show working with Timothy Busfield. And she apparently informs Timothy herself that the mother of these alleged victims, these twins, the mother's name is Angel Lascelles. I don't know if I said that right either, but the mother apparently told her that she was going to get revenge against Timothy Busfield. I guess apparently the children were not renewed to continue starring on that show in 2024, and she was pretty pissed off about it. So yeah, apparently the parents of these children have a little bit of sketchball past themselves. Apparently, people on set are saying that the dad, the Ronald guy, they were witnesses to him, and they said that he was pushy, that he was manipulative, that he would encourage the children to hug people on the set. And now Timothy's lawyers are all saying that this is just all manipulation for financial gain, that they were probably pretty pissed off that their kids didn't get picked up for another season. That's probably a lot of money that they're going to lose. And the lawyers for Timothy claim, quote, that these parents are leveraging a crisis to generate personal financial gain through the current allegations against Busfield. So I'm just listening to all of this, and all I can think is that I don't really like any of these people involved. I don't like any of them. It sounds to me, in my humble opinion, that Timothy is not a very nice guy. His wife is acting strange. And then you got the parents of these two twins who are demonstrated fraudsters. The real victims in all of this, of course, are the children. They're victims if these horrible crimes actually were committed. They're victims in that sense. And if they didn't happen and their parents are just using them as useful tools to gain financial leverage over Timothy because they feel like they were wronged, they're victims in that sense too. I just don't like any of this. I just don't like any of this. All this leaves a really horrible, rotten taste in my mouth. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that he's guilty? 80% of me feels like he's guilty. He's probably guilty as sin. And what's really disgusting is that according to these warrants, he has a historical precedence for this type of stuff. He's acted shady in the past. And then I just don't like the way that Melissa Gilbert is acting. And I really didn't like hearing about how these parents and this dad was disbarred and, you know, frauded people, these homeowners out of $6 million. It's just all gross. It's all sketchball. I don't like any of this. I'll be following this. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it when he has his day in court, Timothy, on January 20th. In the meantime, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But I'm going to take a sip and we're going to move on. Okay. And part of the reason why I wanted to start this little coffee tea chat time with you guys is because there's other things I want to talk about other than Harry and Meghan. I know you guys love Harry and Meghan videos on my channel. They get the most views. I don't make them just to get views. I love the royal family. I hate what these two are doing to the royal family. That's why I talk about it. But let's just talk about her little video there on the Instagram where she's dancing around, you know, black and white. It's an old video. Harry looks pissed off, first of all. He does not want to do this. You can completely tell that this woman is putting him up to it. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do this, okay? He spent all of his time before we even knew the name, rue the day when we all learned the name Meghan Markle, right? Before we knew about that, he was the cheeky chappy military prince, a guy's guy, right? And then now look what she's doing to this man. He deserves every single second of it, don't get me wrong. But you can tell he's definitely being goaded into doing this crap for clicks. So that was the first thing I thought of. He doesn't look happy. He looks like he's being forced. Second thing I thought was she can't dance to save her life. She really can't. I can't dance either. I've never taken a dance class in my life. I was a cheerleader for a little time in junior high school, and that's probably the most athletic I've ever been in my life. But she cannot dance to save her life. Give Thomas Markle Sr. all the money back that he put into these dance lessons. She needs to give him every last red cent back. This is embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. And, you know, coming from a person who can't dance themselves, but it's just, we don't need to see this. So... And apparently this is part of some type of 10-year nostalgia thing that's been going around on the social media. Tons of celebrities are posting now that it's 2026 where they were 10 years ago. And, you know, it's like where I was in 2016 and this is where I am now and here's my journey. And weren't these fools just on a little interview with Gayle King and the authors of that book, The Amazing Generation, talking about getting kids off of, screens and reducing screen time and how social media is evil. That's what they always tell us. But why is this woman so bought into the latest trend on social media that she has to immediately get on there and participate in this little gimmicky thing going around on the social media right now? Why? Because she lives her life on a phone. That's why. I told you this in my last video where I was talking about how she looks AI generated and creepy and weird. Like she looks like a cyborg. This woman lives her life online. And that's why she's doing this crap, okay? And then what else is she doing? She's just putting down the credit for the video is our daughter. She puts cred, our daughter, meaning their daughter Lily filmed this. And everyone's saying, and I completely agree, that this is a very, very steady camera hold if it's indeed a child. Okay, when was this kid born? 2021, which would make her 5. This is a really, really steady hand for a 5-year-old. I don't buy it. This thing was on a tripod or it was held by a peon intern that's not getting paid anything. That's who filmed this. This has nothing to do with the kid. It's like, seriously, Megan, get that kid's name out of your mouth. You know, it's just, it's gross. It's all gross. It's all such a contradiction. Their lives are a walking contradiction. You're going to preach to us constantly about the evils of social media, yet you're going to buy into every social media fad. And then just the fact that the video is of them dancing around looking happy. She always does this. Whenever she's getting a lot of flack and a lot of backlash for something, she'll immediately put out a kind of weird, quick video of her doing something physical with Harry to just get all the attention off the negative story that she doesn't want us to focus on. So when she did that whole baby mama dance in the hospital, I don't know why I'm going like this, but when she did that whole baby mama video dance this past summer, June 25, she did that because in the month or two prior to when she posted that, she was getting all this flack about her new brand as ever. People were talking about, what is this brand? It's weird. She's just trying to, you know, use scarcity marketing to make it seem like it's more popular than it is. People were criticizing her about the name. They were like, isn't this supposed to be American Riviera Orchard? And also her second podcast iteration, The Confessions of a Female Founder, that was getting universally panned. Everyone was saying that it was narcissistic, that it was too self-reflective, that her and her guests were just giving each other tongue baths and like it was just really horrible. There was no real business advice. So all that was going on, all these negative stories. So that's when she posts that twerking video of her looking like she had a dang pillow under her dress because she wanted to get all the focus off of those negative stories. And she's doing the same thing here. She's doing it now because everyone's talking about that website glitch that showed that she has all this unsold inventory and all these internet sleuths are giving her a bunch of crap over it. So, you know, whenever there's something really, really bad going on, that's when she resorts to this kind of stuff, not a regular as ever post where she's got her garden hat going with jam or anything like that. She'll post stuff like this. That is supposed to be these kind of weird slice of life, you know, little montages with her and Harry. And that's what that whole hospital thing was supposed to be, you know, a slice of life. No, this is just me. And remember she said in the Bloomberg interview that this is just life. This is just me. And there's a whole life going on. You know, even though people are criticizing me, there's life going on. And I'm just like, oh God, you're focusing on all the wrong things. Like, we don't care. We don't want to see you dance. We don't want to see you twerk. We don't want to see you do any of this stuff. We just want you to go away. We want you to go away. Stop abusing our eyeballs. And of course, you know, the wicked never rest. As I'm editing this, she's got to have more happy-go-lucky times, you know, Little House on the Montecito Prairie here. Doria's featured in the pool, I guess, with Lily. They're dancing. There's like a little shopping list that apparently Lily helped create. And yay, you did it! And then it shows Archie feeding a rhinoceros. I guess he's at a zoo. Of course, no full-on face shot there. Just the back of his head, of course. And I totally laughed when I saw that picture because all I thought was it looked like she's just getting money out of an ATM machine, like these big bills, you know. Just picture the giraffe as the ATM machine. That is her royal title. And she's just pulling out those Benjamins. There she is, folks. Just same old slop from her. It's never going to end. And again, she's doing this stuff with the family because she always trots out the kids when all of the criticism gets a little bit too much to bear. She wants to trot out the back of the head, faceless children, so that will ease up on her and stop making criticisms about her weirdo company and everything else that she does, which is weird because she's a weirdo and this is what weirdos do. So there you go. So yeah, that's my take on that. What I have for you guys is I am currently working on part 2 of my Priscilla Presley video. Now that one got a nice little reception on my channel, where I took a dive into Lisa Marie Presley and Priscilla Presley, and I was talking about the lawsuits and the conflicting narratives that swirl around Priscilla, and how, you know, when I didn't really know a lot about her, I never really had anything against her. I mean, Priscilla, I thought she was a beautiful woman. I knew she was married to Elvis. I've been a lifelong Elvis fan. I put this video out. It was fairly well received, but a lot of you guys were pissed off in the comments because a lot of you really felt that I wasn't giving Priscilla her due justice, that a lot of people really out there do not like Priscilla. They think that she is a fraudster, and she's kind of like Colonel Tom Parker in the sense that she is just using Elvis and his good name and riding on that coattail, you know, into perpetuity to enrich herself. And some of the things that I was saying in that video, like, yeah, you know, she started Elvis Presley Enterprises. She opened Graceland to the public because she wanted to preserve Elvis's legacy and the home. And so many people were like, no, girl, she did not. She did not. She is this, she is that, whatever. And I didn't put part 2 out yet, but in part 2, I read from a chapter in a book that I had read over 10 years ago now. And the book is called Child Bride, and it's by Suzanne Finstad. So what I wanted to do in this video was tell you guys that this is going to be the next book that I read on this channel. And in part 2, I read a particularly scathing and saucy chapter about Priscilla. And I don't want to spoil too much, but I just want to tell you that in this book, the author alleges that Priscilla is not the timid, kind of shy girl that entered into Elvis's world and then he died, and then she just emerges as this, you know, kind of like phoenix from the ashes to single-handedly save his name and legacy narrative that she's been trying to push out into the public for years and years and years and years. This book, Child's Bride, basically alleges that Priscilla has, along with her mother, planned everything. They planned meeting Elvis. They wanted her entangled with him. That, you know, the book says she was very calculating, that she is narcissistic, that Priscilla is only out for herself. And the author just documents this as Priscilla's life goes along. And the author is asserting that Priscilla is actually very, very shrewd, and she's very, very conniving, and she's out for herself, and that she has always been out for herself. Now, the book doesn't paint Elvis as being, you know, 100% pure as a driven snow, never did anything wrong in his life either. No, but the focus is on Priscilla, and that she wasn't this little deer in the headlights, naive girl that she's always presented herself to be. So that part 2 is coming. In part 2, I'm going to read one chapter in particular to kind of set the stage, and then that is going to be the next book after I finished Errol Flynn Slept Here series. I've got at least one more episode of Errol Flynn Slept Here coming. I think I'm going to take the last 2 chapters and I'm going to combine it into one episode. And I have had such fun with that series, and so many of you guys told me that you enjoyed as well, even though that video series doesn't get as much views on my channel as some other material does. But yes, this is going to be the next book, you guys, and it's going to be a juicy one. And there's a lot going on with Priscilla right now. And if you want to find out about all the lawsuits that she is currently involved in right now, you know, as of 2026, you need to watch part 1. I will link it somewhere up here or down below. So I am working on that one, getting that one out to you. And after that video, and after the last episode or 2 of Errol Flynn Slept Here, that's when we're going to get into Child Bride. This book is really, really juicy, really, really good, you guys. And I had forgotten that I read it. And then when all this stuff started coming out about the current lawsuits that Priscilla Presley is embroiled with now in 2026, I remember that book and I was like, oh yeah, like I remember what that book said about her. I remember that book describing her as being conniving and being manipulative and being shrewd, allegedly. But this woman, this Suzanne Finstad, went back really, really far. I mean, she basically interviewed, I would say, every single person that came into contact with Priscilla from the time that she first emerged on the scene, because the world found out about Priscilla Presley when she escorted Elvis to the airport in Germany when he was discharged after his 2-year stint in the army, you know, where she's famously seen waving in the crowd to him. So she had been dating him and had spent at least a minimum of around 6 months with him at that time, where she's, you know, famously waving him off. And that was when the world first saw who Priscilla Beaulieu was, you know, this young girl who was stationed with her family in Wiesbaden, Germany. So this woman, this Suzanne Finstad, I mean, she goes back, y'all. She goes back to people that knew her in Germany when she first met Elvis. So it's going to be good. And I can't wait to get into that book with you guys. So yeah, just my little coffee or tea chat. And again, that's the name that I've picked out for this series, Coffee or Tea with You and Me. That's what I have. And if you hate that name and you can come up with a better name, let me know in the comments down below. Heck, let's make it a little contest. I'll look through the comments, and if someone can come up with a better name than that janky one that I came up with, great, we will call it that. But I just want it to be a fun little time where we just get our hot beverage, or, it doesn't have to be a hot beverage. It can be water, it can be an adult beverage, whatever you like. We can just get together and we can chat about stuff going on. Like the video if you liked listening to me ramble on like a psycho. Subscribe if you haven't. If you have subscribed, check to see if you're still subscribed, because weird janky stuff has been going on with YouTube lately. Every time I go into YouTube Studio, which is like the back end, kind of like our back end dashboard as a creator, my subscriber growth has slowed to a scary crawl. It's kind of scary. I have no idea what's going on. I made a post about it yesterday. I was like, are the AI cyborgs involved in this dark force conspiracy about why my channel isn't growing and why I don't have subscribers? Who knows? But some of you guys were like, go outside and touch grass, Jennifer. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. We like you. We like your channel. We're subscribing. Calm down. So yeah, hopefully that's the case. But yeah, thanks for watching, hanging out, having a little chat with me. Look out for the new videos coming, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.